okay, there's money down there, but when you're also getting money, we're talking about saving, and that's why we're talking, summer vacation planning and things like that. Tax season coming up, and today we have Eric Palmer, a financial educator from Outlook Advisors. He's here to show us actually a couple of apps that we can put on our phone, really to kind of help us out here. So, what's the first one on your list, and how can we? Let's dive in.
Consumer. I think one of the biggest ways we spend money is shopping. So if we have a way to compare prices, compare products, and actually with Consumer Reports, they have a barcode scanner. You can go into a store, scan a product, and it'll actually show you where the nearest deal is. So it doesn't have to actually be in that store. You can find it a little bit cheaper and put a little bit extra money away.
So you're basically shopping around on the go while you're out and about. Like
exactly right.
$10 cheaper down the road, so there's your savings.
Exactly right.
So we have other apps. These are actually like Level Money. I understand it actually monitors your checking and savings accounts that you have at Wells Fargo or whatever. Exactly. How does that one work exactly?
Level Money is pretty neat because it actually takes your spending down to the finest details. So whether it's the cup of coffee that you spend your money on, beauty products, or your health care, it's going to identify each category, show you where you're actually saving or spending money, and it'll actually break down your net spendable income on a daily or a weekly basis, so you know how much is left over after all of your spending is done.
But when an app like this categorizes for you, maybe some people wouldn't want to see that, right? Maybe like, oh, I spend too much on food and drinks.
Right. It can be a bit revealing. In fact, most often we find that we spend way too much money on coffee. But again, if we can rein in those expenses, we're going to be in better shape.
Gotcha. So this is one that I haven't heard of. Unsplurge. That's the opposite of like impulse buying and things like that, right?
Exactly. Unsplurge is an app where you can set a goal, and it could be something as small as a weekend vacation or something like putting a down payment on a home. So it'll actually let you set the goal, put money aside, and then it tracks your goal so you can see how far along the way you actually are.
And on the next app that we have called Digit, this one you were telling us during the commercial break that it's a little different. This one's actually going to do a little bit of the work for you. Could explain that to us?
Exactly. It identifies your spending habits. You can actually link your checking and your savings accounts to this. And as you spend, it starts to learn from you where you have little moments in time where there's extra money to put aside. So whether it's a couple of dollars or as much as $50 at a given time, it'll actually put the money aside in the savings account that's FDIC insured and start learning from your spending habits and doing the saving for you.
Now, on the same app, though, if at any moment I decide, I actually don't want them to take as much, do I have a little more control back?
You're in complete control with this application. In fact, with a text message, you can text the Unsplurge app and tell it to send some money back to your checking account, and it'll transfer the money right away.
And Mint is the final app that we're talking about here. Not that I want to talk bad about any of these apps, but I used to have it. I took it off my phone because it actually has a cool feature that kind of bothered me. It tells you your net worth.
Right.
Mine was never very good. That's why I had to take it off. So nothing wrong with the app there. It was kind of discouraging for me. But talk to us about Mint a little bit.
Mint's a little bit more robust. It's available again for iPhone and Android. But what Mint does is it actually identifies all of your spending, all of your savings accounts, your checking accounts, your credit cards, puts it all into one place, starts to provide notifications when you're on track for certain goals. And you actually can plug in your bills and have it pay your bills for you. So full automation as far as finances go, full on tracking, and it's kind of a big picture app. So it's very robust, and we really like the free version because it does quite a bit for you.
And I do have to ask you, as a financial educator, if we step away from these apps for just a little bit and we're talking about savings, is there kind of like this ballpark frame that we should be aiming for the average consumer? Should I save 15% of my income, or how does that work for the average?
I get that question all the time. It's all over the place. It really depends on the person, but if you can at least put aside 10% of what you're earning, you're going to be on the right track. It really depends on how close you are to retirement as well, and or that goal that you're setting money aside for. Again, if it's a down payment on a home, certain percentages are going to be applicable depending on how much time you actually have.
Or maybe a trip to Europe.
Trip to Europe, that could be as well.
That would certainly be nice. Thanks so much for spending some time with us here today. I appreciate you.